Welcome back. It's time for our newest segment with Colby Hébert. You might know him because he is the Cajun Hatter, but he's also a traiteur and a history buff as well. And we love having you because I love learning about Louisiana Legends. And today we are tackling Marie Laveau.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back, and October, being able to cover all the kind of more spooky lore, so Marie Laveau is kind of the perfect place to kick it off. And she really is surrounded in so much mystery because there's so much that's unknown about her life. But also, she rose to prominence in reality, in New Orleans in a way that, people just fill in those gaps. They kind of can't help it by telling all of these extravagant stories. A great big voodoo queen and priestess is kind of the image that she carries.
Yeah, like when I first went to New Orleans, that's all I heard was Marie Laveau.
Right, yeah, I mean, people travel to her grave, and make kind of, crosses there and marks and this and that. But yeah, basically back in those early days, in the early 1800s, in the early days of her life, she kind of rose to prominence through hairdressing. She was working with the kind of elite class, taking care of them, and she was listening to all of their secrets and kind of using that supposedly, to kind of provide information that seems like she was divinating, creating, telling all these things about people that she seemed to have gotten from some, mysterious force.
Yeah. Why do you think that with Marie Laveau there is so much lore and mystery?
Yeah, I think it's easy in when we look back at historical cultures, especially characters. I mean, especially those who are remarkable, to just kind of conflate and like I said, sort of fill in the gaps and kind of make all of these legends and mysteries great and interesting and exciting. The realities are that the truths about the history of the lives that these people lived are really equally as interesting and entertaining. And so that's kind of what we're really going to get into, is talking a little bit more in detail about who she really was, the real Marie Laveau.
And I can't wait when we dive into that discussion. But like, it's really fun too, because you mentioned like voodoo and everything, and I had no idea. I'm probably going to learn a lot from you today about who she really was. But usually voodoo and Marie Laveau, they're tied hand in hand whenever you go to New Orleans.
Right, yeah, because voodoo, being one of the kind of prominent folk spiritual practice within the city and within Louisiana, and her being an individual who was kind of engaged in all of this folk spiritual practice, it definitely makes sense that they would kind of put the name together, with that denomination, voodoo, which is an actual religion. So most people kind of think it's just sort of this spooky black magic, but it's a religion, that comes from Africa and Haiti.
Learning so much already, and I cannot wait. We're going to continue this conversation. We have a whole nother segment with Colby, so you guys definitely want to stick around for this. Right now, though, let's go ahead and check in. We're hanging out with Colby Hébert, the Cajun Hatter, traiteur, history buff extraordinaire. We're continuing our Louisiana Legends series, and today we're tackling kind of like a big one, Marie Laveau.
Yeah,
and we talked about like the voodoo aspect of it, but now we're going to talk about what she was really like.
Yeah, who was the real Marie Laveau is a big question, because like I said earlier, it's so easy to conflate all of that history and those tales. And in reality, she was a lot simpler, most like most of us in South Louisiana, just someone who kind of followed the traditions of their ancestors. She had learned different things about, spiritual practice and folk practice from her mother and her grandmother, very likely. But she was a Catholic who went to Mass daily. She also was married in St. Louis Cathedral, raised her children Catholic and baptized them there as well. So she was much more of a simple, kind of, devout woman.
Yeah.
Much more really like a traiteur or a traiteuse. And New Orleans definitely had those as well.
And that was a question too. As soon as that segment ended, the guys in the back were like, "Ask him if she was a traiteur."
Yeah, I most definitely. I mean, because really, a traiteur is to say a Louisiana healer, and so the reality of voodoo is that it focuses on protection and healing, even if she was or was not, a part of that particular religion. I do think that she had influence from, her West African side and traditions, but at the same time, she was very influenced and devout in her Catholicism. And most importantly, I think as a takeaway and some of the things that we know, the truths about her, is that she was very dedicated in service to the poor, orphans, the oppressed, actually prisoners. She would minister, pray with, and work with very many kind of just underprivileged and people who were in need. So she did a lot of service work.
And you're saying, I had no idea she did all of that. So how do you think she got this mysterious title?
Yeah, and we don't really know if she really was a voodoo queen, but what we do know is that her daughter, Marie, kind of carried on her legacy, tapped into it, and was more engaging in hoodoo, conjure work, root work, which is kind of to say like hoodoo and just sort of southern, kind of folk magic. So her daughter was more heavily involved in those things and used her mother's legacy and really pushed it under the same name. So that definitely is something that kind of added to the whole legend of Marie Laveau.
Yeah, and I think that's cool that she did have that, her daughter kind of carry on and lean into that a little bit too and carry on that legacy. I think it's really cool that we are tackling these Louisiana legends. Marie Laveau is a big one.
A huge one, yeah.
And we have a lot more in store each week in October because it is spooky month. And I'm just so excited. Colby, if people at home, they want to come visit you at your shop or pick your brain about Louisiana Legends, how can they find you?
Yeah, downtown Lafayette at the Cajun Hatter. That's where we're set up from Tuesday through Saturday every day. So.
Yeah, and if you guys at home, if you want to learn more, if you want to re-watch this segment and share it with someone, we're going to put everything you need to know on our website, klif.com. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Whole crew here hanging out. You guys can't see it behind the scenes, but it's literally like a party here whenever it's Zydeco Thursday. We've got Tate, we've got everybody just hanging out. Tate, I do want to mention you guys are doing October breast cancer awareness.
Absolutely. So throughout all of our customers throughout the country, the more that you spend money on our rum, the more we're going to give back to breast cancer research. So thanks so much for the support for everyone for drinking our rum.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
It is
absolutely.
It's a win-win for everybody. So if you guys at home, if you want to rewatch everything that just happened, because we had a lot of great things going on.
Honestly.
Head to our website, kdn.com. Chubby, can you play us out into commercial break?
Thursdays are the best days.